Hey, good morning, good morning. How you guys doing? Oh, wrong one. Damn. It's hard. My my other screen's not working. But we're here today. And we're here today to talk about the Black Panther. Trying to find out what's really going on. Sorry about the last video. Basically what happened was that I had my ear headsets plugged in, and when you have that plugged in, you guys can't hear the video. So that was the issue right there. But it's a good video. I tried to redo it, but I had a violation, YouTube violation on it. So I had to delete it. So and then after that, I was exhausted. I didn't feel like putting a video out. But today we're going to talk about the Black Panther. We're going to see what's going on. It's been said that a lot of them are federal agents, and I believe it. Yes, from the beginning to the end. CIA constructed everything. So let's listen. This guy, this guy right here is a federal agent.
Sending the message.
He's a federal agent. These are all federal agents. So what I think, allegedly, what's going on is that these black guys are federal agents, and they're recruiting people, and they're like, you know what, let's get all these hotheads, all these, people who are angry, meatheads, mad, walking across the street all angry black guy. Let's get them in. We know where they are. We recruited them. We got their number. We got their cell phone. We could track them. We could keep in touch with them. We know what kind of gun they have. We've been to their house. So I think this is just like Hamas, created by Israel. So this Black Panther, I don't think is the same as the old Black Panther yet. I don't know what it's about. Even Malcolm X left the Black Panther because he said that it was infiltrated by feds and the government. So this is basically a FBI CIA operative to find those black people who are very, very upset. And they have a lot of them. They see a lot of them. They see a threat. They see the guns. They're like, okay, they could only have these guns. How much bombs do they have? How much bullets do they have? How much ammunition? Where they store it at? Okay, so they know everything. So when everything goes down, you're gonna be like, oh, what's happening? Oh, what? How do they know where the stash was? How do they know? Okay, everybody's arrested. Okay, your mama's calling, baby, just surrender. And then you're in jail doing 25 to life. You guys better be careful. This is a psyop.
And had the courage to carry out that which we got in our minds and didn't have the courage. But I'm telling you, we're saying he ain't standing by himself. Can I get an amen? Amen. And see, now, they say the thing.
He said, amen. Amen. What?
Going to use their justice system because
they're so fake.
and they might want to kill Rodney for avenging his son.
This is all a setup. This is all a setup to catch those vigilantes, those mean, angry black people who will get a gun and start doing some crazy stuff, especially if they're in the military.
We here to say no, sir. No, sir. Now, you do that, your other things are going to happen. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace.
Oh, see, that's it. They're Democrats. Because that's the Democrat slogan. No justice, no peace. That's democratic right there. So they're Democrats. That's a Democratic slogan. No justice, no peace. Justice means just us. Just us. That's the Roman. Just us. We need just us in there. We need just us winning. Just us. The power, the top. the dominion, the the um the center, the dominant. So, this is the game the Democrats play. And he said it right there. You got to know. It's like somebody saying, West Side, or somebody throwing out their slogans, like, Stater Brothers, protect the farmers, oh, okay, they're from State Farm. Because State Farm always says protect the farmers, if it's Star, everybody had what McDonald's has their slogan, Big Mac, or Burger King, don't let it get all over your face. The Democratic slogan is no justice, no peace. So you already know it's an ops right there. You see that? Exactly. Black Lives Matter. These are all federal agents.
Feel extreme fatigue?
Oh my God, really? Right now? So, man.
Or have blurred vision due to diabetes.
Wow, they will
Place this
not. They will
under your
not.
tongue and flush out sugar through your urine. Most.
He got the Black Lives Matter shirt on, so automatically, my mouse is giving me some problems right now. Okay, so he got the Black Lives Matter shirt on. That's Democratic. That's Democrats. These are Democrats right here. Democrat. He's known to be a Fed. This is a Democrat. Black Lives Matter. Also. When you see a lot of Caucasians there, these are the administrators, the office clerks. They're just, smoke some weed, do some filming, editing. They're really good writers. They're really good in math, algebra, generation after generation, IQs 800 plus. They smoke and do drugs just to stay alive. It's too easy for them. So they're in the administration, generational wealth. They don't have to work, but they're there. They have a cause. They got to stay busy, So they're here working in the office. These people are the front line. These are the ones making sure that the black people are doing their job. These are all Democrats, support LGBTQ and so forth.
And we're not going to only say his name, we're going to protect his body. Don't kill that man. Did y'all hear what I say? No, it ain't going to be a race war. It's going to be against the system. Because you got people that look like me and you that's in the system doing the same damn thing. Quick up. Quick up.
That's the Hitler sign. That's Nazism. See that Nazism? That's the Nazi. That's the salute, but it's still coming from the chest.
Watch this. The whole world know who Rodney Hitler Jr. is.
Black people could entertain you. You could just watch them all day. You don't need they don't need to do anything. You just be watching them. They're so entertaining. Now, okay, she's talking about him now.
I know that I said I wasn't going live and making no content today, and I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? But I was going through my comment section.
This
And
is
I saw these
Micha.
dumbass comments. I'm gonna show them to you right here, and then we're gonna address them. Okay?
So Michi went over there and spoke to this guy right here. Yeah, spoke to him and ended up finding out that he's a FBI informant. Yeah, he's an FBI informant, and she might be able to explain it right here for us.
Hi.
So this is what's going on right here as you're reading it. So this is her writing. When is black people going to realize everyone that stayed there for us maybe already been paid off by this demonic system? I still remember Jam Master J saying Michi X set him up.
Now, I keep getting a lot of comments about Grandmaster J. Okay, do you know who?
This is Grandmaster J right here.
You know, how is he doing to dumbass shit like I'm
I
the
think
one that
so.
broke up NFAC or shit like you just read that I set him up. So let's set the record the fuck straight right here, right now, okay? First of all, I don't know how people leave comments in folks' comment section and you don't even have the man's name right, but you over here talking about somebody set him up. You don't even know his name. So how the fuck you know how he went to jail or what even happened to him, okay? So let's be clear. I don't fuck with Grandmaster J. I don't know what he is doing. I don't know when he is getting out. And just because black folks are desperate to have some type of a protection, and you're like, oh, he had our black militia, we need him back. Grandmaster J is a narcissist, and y'all must have missed all of the damn memos that everybody put out about this man, including Brother Ozone and all of the folks that was in his militia. Like, how did y'all miss all of that? So let's recap that shit right the fuck now, okay? Quit asking me about Grandmaster J. I don't know what he's doing. And when he gets out, the last thing he should ever be doing is trying to build a militia for black people. Now, let's confront what was said in those comment sections. How did I set up Grandmaster J? Like, are some of y'all stupid?
Watch what milk does to your brain. Take a look at these two brain scans. They both look young.
What do you eat for breakfast? Bowls of dumbness? Grandmaster J went to prison because at one of his so-called protests, he pointed a rifle at federal agents. Okay? That's why he went to jail. At a protest that Michi wasn't at and have a motherfucking thing to do with me, and I was nowhere around. Okay? So how I set him up? This don't even make no sense. It don't even sound right. Again, you calling him Jam Master J? The man's name is Grandmaster J. And if you don't know his name, how do you know what the fuck happened? Nobody set him up. Everybody knows why he went to jail. That don't eat bowls of dumbness for breakfast, okay? You can Google the shit, all right? So let's also be clear. When people want to point out, oh, you know, Michi said she for the black community, but look what she did to Grandmaster J. What did I do to Grandmaster J? I came live and I told y'all I wasn't fucking with him no more. I have the right to unco-sign people publicly if I publicly co-sign them. Okay? And so let's run down all the reasons again why he should never be in charge of a black militia and why I don't fuck with him and why a lot of people that were in NFAC don't fuck with him anymore since y'all have seemed to forgotten, okay? One would be the fact that when he got in trouble by the police, he got arrested, okay? After he got arrested, he called me because he got out and got bailed out, and they told him, you can't be on the internet. So he would tell me what he wanted me to say and give messages to the people, and I would use my platform to speak to the people. That was it, and that was all. But at the end of the day, there were tons of people in NFAC that I knew that went over there that were friends of mine, people I have known for many years. And we had people who started leaving NFAC because of his actions behind the scene. And when they left, instead of him saying, oh, well, they left, they don't want to be here no more, he would go back to the militia of black people full of guns and a whole lot of ready to get it startedness in their soul. And he would go back and tell them the reason these people left is because they were federal agents and they worked for the government, and he kicked them out because they were in there as ops. That was not the truth. These people actually just said, I don't want to be a part of this militia no more. So then you go put the label of op on their head. That's dangerous shit, right? But that was just the beginning. After that, all of his right-hand men that were around him, like Brother Ozone, came out and told you guys the truth about this man. This man said that he was going to run off with all of the donation money that y'all gave him for his defense, that he was not going to stay and do what he needed to do. This man also, in every protest that he had, he would call the police beforehand and get permission to be there and get a permit. I don't know about you, but I've been doing activist work for a very long time, right? And the one thing we don't do when we show up to make a statement, we don't go to the police and ask them if we can have a permit to come around here. So while Grandmaster Jay was showing up to march at places, showing up with all of those guns against the Proud Boys and everybody else, see, the Proud Boys and them just showed up. Grandmaster Jay was getting permits from the police. The police were actually there escorting them one day when they...
Wow, could you believe that? You see, that's the problem. When you're dealing with people who have been in jail, it's going to be hard for you to kind of bring it back into your little circle, whichever that is, whatever you're in a restaurant or you're doing whatever, because people with criminal history and has been in and out of jail, especially here in California, I automatically mark them informant. Seriously, informant. Because they are informant. Even if you're not participating as an informant means somebody that gives information about something else. They're not acting as a spy. It's just like, you have a girlfriend, she comes into your life, or you have a significant other, and they come into your life and they're gathering information from you. Oh, this is where your mailbox is. Oh, this is where your bank is. Oh, this is where they're taking it, and then they're inputting that into their phone. They're giving that information to family members. Oh, I'm gonna go pick him up. He works over here. His car's messed up. You're giving out information. Oh, he gave me his car to use, just for now because he's stuck somewhere. So he said, come pick up my card at work or meet me over here. Okay, now she got your credit card information. So, your information is being sent out. And when these people come back into your life, and then they spend time with you, they go meet their probation officer, or they get caught up doing something else, aggravated assault with their spouse, they're like, oh, I got some information, or they already know you have the information. They don't have to ask you. They just let you go back out there, and they know where you go. Where it's okay. What's going on with so and so? Why does he always go to that deli? Oh, he knows that guy. They grew up together. They went to high school together. So he always goes there to support them. He donates to. Oh, okay. So they're giving out information, things that they don't understand, that they can't get info in. That person will be able to provide it. This could be your mother too, or your sister, or somebody else. People are giving out information about you, and it gets into the wrong hands. Things bad could happen, and that's what it is. The problem with informants is because those people went into the Black Panther. They said, wait a minute, bro. This guy is posing with police officers, taking pictures. He's in the government. He's asking for permits. We're going to protest on this side. Register your guns. Give all your information. They already got your information. So you register all. Okay, you can't register your guns. So the guns that are registered, you got to leave them at home. But they're going to send somebody down there because you're going to make friends with one of them, and they're going to say, let's go shoot it. And you're going to want to bring your gun out that's not registered, and then, yeah. He got one of those, what? Yeah, be careful. So they got that on you right there, you see? And then you get a crazy traffic stop. Why you pull me over? Hey, why you doing this to me? Well, what's going on? Next minute, they got a search warrant. Next minute they got your gun. You gotta pay lawyers to get your gun back. So this is what happens when, and that's what she found out. So she's given us, now she's an informant to us. She's informing us that, hey, like Malcolm X said, they're all feds.
They were marching on Stone Mountain. I guess y'all didn't hear that though, right? Then the last thing is that there were plenty of black business owners who wanted to give him products for him to promote. And I think the one that pissed me off the most was two brothers that are gunsmiths. They make guns. Now, NFAC, they all need their guns. So they offered to make a special gun just for NFAC. Now, they're going to make the guns. They need to buy the parts and everything else. And this motherfucker told them he wanted 50 to 60% of all the sales. And they said, bro, that's too much. We can't give you that much money for the sales of them. You know what Grandmaster Jay told them?
You know what? All
He
these
said, well,
all
if you
these
can't give me
war
that kind of
commercials,
money,
man.
then we'll just let them keep buying the white man's guns. So I don't understand. When this is what he's doing to black businesses, when he is cooperating with all the police, you think this man, was finna build a militia that's gonna step on anybody's feet for us? When he checking with the police, he out here dismissing all kind of black people, saying, well, if I can't have most of your money, then we'll just give it all to the white people. Anybody that was trying to get him to promote their products that are black businesses, he wanted like 50% of all of their sales. And when they couldn't do that, he said, fuck you then. So again, I don't fuck with Grandmaster Jay. If you care about what happened to him, fine. But if he was to get out and try to start another militia, I would never promote it. I would never tell people to be a part of it, because something is wrong with that man, and he really is in all of this for the clout. Like I said, a militia for black people, you don't show up to a scene and then announce to the police you're going to be there before you get there and then ask their permission. You don't say you're about the black community, but yet and still every time a black business tries to work with you, if they don't give you enough of the funds from the sales, then we can just continue to buy our shit from white people. You don't turn around and have the black community raise tons of money for you and then say you just gonna run off with the motherfucking donations. So I don't.
Black Lives Matter. Be careful. You got to be careful with these organizations. That's why I don't donate anymore. I don't care if you stand for black people, Red Cross, Blue Cross, homeless, or whatever, Gaza or Israel. My first question is, how much is your CEO getting paid? How much is the owner getting paid? How much is your administration getting paid? Because I've worked in it. I've worked at the bank. I've done real estate. I'm doing real estate. I've done accounting. I see it. You'll give them $1 million, and that owner would take 800,000, pocket that, take 100,000, give it to the wife, then that 50,000 go on a vacation, and then that 50,000 that's left over, that's what they're gonna try to use to pay their staff and budget how they're gonna go purchase canned foods or purchase I need the cheapest product. I need the cheapest app, something under $8,000, because that's all they got left, and then that's it. Everybody work from home. You want to meet up have an appointment? Oh, Starbucks. You see, you got to be careful before. Now I know all the tax benefits and so forth. Donate. You could write off something in your tax. Your expenses should be able to take care of that. If you're donating to these companies, I understand you gotta donate, but that's why the Clinton family and a lot of other families like Apple and Microsoft, they have their own foundation. The Microsoft Foundation, the Clinton Foundation. So they're donating to their own foundation because they already know how the game works. They already know that those donations are being pocketed. That mansion keeps on getting bigger and bigger. Okay, so you gotta be careful when you're donating to these organizations. For example, the CEO for the Red Cross gets paid 800,000 a year. Okay, and that was USA aid money. USA aid money. Like 90% was US aid money. 10% was donations. All that money is going into her pocket, $800,000 a year. Okay, for basically handing out syringes and products made in China for $2 that they're selling for $60. So you gotta look at it. You gotta know that these donations, foundations are businesses. That's how they operate.
Understand how y'all don't know how to read the fucking writing on the wall. But after Grandmaster Jay went to jail and got bailed out, all of his people walked away from him. After I said I don't fuck with him no more, Ozone and everybody else came out and had their own stories. So again, y'all always want to act like it's Michi. That's a problem. Why am a problem just because I said I don't mess with somebody? Y'all don't know me by now? If I publicly co-sign you and I promote you and then I find out you're full of shit, it is my job and my duty to the community to unco-sign you publicly. So again, Michi ain't do shit to Grandmaster Jay. I didn't do shit to NFAC. All I did was tell y'all why I wasn't fucking with him no more. You can fuck with whoever you want, okay? And the last thing that I've ever done is set a motherfucker up, okay? He's in jail of his own reasons and the stuff that he has done. And anybody that can follow this case would know that. So miss me with that bullshit and stop bringing me into y'all mess. Don't ask me about no motherfucking Grandmaster Jay no more. Don't come in my comment section and ask me that. I don't know what's going on with him and I do not give two fucks. You understand? And when he gets out, if he tried to build a militia,
Sorry about the
I would
language.
never support that shit and you would be a fool to do so. Now you should go and ask the people on the inside of NFAC all the problems that they had with this deranged ass man, and then maybe you would understand that for all of you people on the outside looking in that don't know what the fuck is going on. And again, Michi ain't the ox, nigga. I'm a fella my damn self. Ain't nobody here trying to send nobody to jail. So please quit trying to find a reason to tarnish Michi's name and
Wow.
make me be the person that's
God damn, you're going at it. So now we're going to see how the FBI work infiltrates, and then we're going to go back to that video.
My name is Scott Payne. I served in the FBI for 23 years as an undercover agent. I infiltrated biker gangs, the KKK, and America's neo-Nazis. And this is everything I'm authorized to tell you.
Authorized.
We were all
Authorized.
worried about my safety. We had quick response teams, you know, like, but the bottom line is if I'm in the middle of 100 acres and the crap hits the fan, what are you going to do for me other than avenge my death unless I take care of it on my own? So, you know, that's kind of that undercover mentality. If you're only going in because you're expecting 3 SWAT teams and HRT to be there for you, you probably shouldn't go in. There was an opportunity to do the Outlaws Motorcycle Club in Massachusetts, out of the Boston office. My game plan was to just go in cold. I think I went into the Outlaws case around July of 2005. Taunton, Massachusetts was what we were going after. They had pretty good intelligence. I'm like, hey, you know, what do you know? And they were like, they showed me, hey, this guy right here, he loves to be surrounded by big guys. He loves to be the center of attention. So they had that down. And I'm like, okay, cool. That lets me know, all right, I can be me. We knew that they frequented a strip club.
Behold the branch ergonomic chair, a symbiotic companion for the working human, with 8 points of ergonomic.
Oh,
And
that's a nice
for
chair.
those that don't know, in the biker world, you have a mandatory meeting every week, and that's called church. And depending on the club and the chapter, sometimes that's where you talk about your criminal activity. You know, you cut your phones off, airplane mode, leave them outside, go inside, you know, and that's all ways to thwart being infiltrated, to thwart law enforcement detection. I kind of made some stops at that bar when they weren't there, and kind of got to know the crowd a little bit. And then one night, when we're ready to swing for the fences, the surveillance is like, hey, they're leaving, they're on their way there. I'm already at the bar. I'm like, cool. I had asked them, I'm like, hey, can they wear their colors in the bar? And they're like, no, we don't believe they can wear them in the bar. And I go, oh, that's good. That's an advantage for me, because now I'm just a tattooed dude drinking, staring at half-dressed women.
You see that? You see how... Excuse me. You see how you went back there to the bar and started collecting information from other people? You know, in a casual manner, in a respectful... He didn't go there with a pen and paper. He went there, I just got off work, and gathered information. You see?
Listening to rock and roll, and so was that guy. but that part of the intelligence is wrong. So I'm in there, I'm on one side of the bar, and here comes about, I don't know, 12, 13 outlaws, all with their colors on, and they take the whole back section of the bar. Well, that changes any kind of approach for me, right? Well, what do? You walk up and go, hey, especially this accent in Massachusetts, come on. But you walk up and go, hey, you boys like to ride? Probably getting smacked at the minimum, right? You know. So I just started being me, trying to ingratiate, just getting to know some of the outlaws, just shooting the shit, guys at a bar. And then they had somebody kind of check me out in the bathroom. That was a little weird. This big jack dude named Scott Town, who I got to befriend and know very, very well through that case. Door swings open, and here he is, barrel-chested, big muscles, and then I see him eyeballing me and start to walk up. So for that split second, I'm thinking, I'm getting jacked. He's probably going to slam me or something. I'm just ready, preparing for anything. Well, he starts questioning me about where I've been, this, that, and the other. Don't bluff, because I did throw out some stuff. McAllen, Texas. He'd been to Brownsville. Greenville, South Carolina. He'd been to Spartanburg. He knew all the places I was talking. So had I been bluffing and not knowing what I was talking about, I probably could have blown it.
And I bet you that guy that was questioning him, it's a Fed too. He's a Fed also. They're all Feds.
For protection and safety, I got me. I don't have a gun. You know, I'm pretty sure I wasn't even wired that night, because me personally, I don't like to be wired in the beginning. I mean, if we would start fighting, it's just been me fighting. You know, hopefully a cover team can hear me. You should have a cover team on you if you're out. A cover team would be like my case team, but they're a response team. You might have multiple response teams, and they may do shifts. But for the outlaw case, it was basically me. For the 2 years, it was basically me, the case agent, FBI case agent, who was a friend of mine, Massachusetts State Trooper.
See, you heard that? 2 years. 2 years. You know, hey, come pick up my mama. Hey, come help me out. Hey, you're part of the team. Hey, can you give me a ride? You know, you're doing all this stuff. 2 years to gathering information. You see, the Black Panther, it's no different than this. You know, it's no different than the KKK. It's no different than the Nazis party. It's no different than the Bloods or Crips. It's all informants in there. Everybody's been to jail. They made a deal not to serve time or extra time, so they're out there. You know, you always go to that burger joint early in the morning. We'll meet you there. Tell us what's going on with so and so. Okay. Da 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 da.
Task force officer, and it was a Brockton PD detective, and we had a DEA counterpart. But for the most part, it was those two task force officers, the agent, and me. Sometimes gaining trust from somebody takes a long time, but I just started hanging. And that night, that first night I bumped them, they invited me to their Northeast Regional meet, which was called the Lobster Fest. I made sure I came back for that and started meeting more people. And I was just hanging around, you know. But, you know, what is a country guy doing in Massachusetts? I'm going to have a reason that's believable. I said I was a site survey specialist. I grew up landscaping. And I started looking for something that I felt comfortable talking about and being able to do for a living. But eventually I started letting it be known that I'm not just a legit businessman. I do some criminal activity too. And then I started doing some things. What it turned in for them was, in the beginning, they would report vehicles stolen. They would get their own insurance money. I would buy those vehicles off of them at a stolen price. And what they believed is that I was moving them to Mexico. And then we start gaining more trust because we're hanging more and they're learning more about me and I'm learning more about them. And then it becomes, hey, we just carjacked somebody. So now they're saying, Tex, we got a hot car. We need to get rid of it. I'm like, okay, I'll get rid of it. So take that one. I started dropping breadcrumbs about the fact that I did used to be in the dope game. And I did have contacts in the cartel. But I got out of it because some of my boys got locked up and the heat was getting too close. In the Outlaws case, there wasn't a part where I was going to get taken down. But there were several times during that case I did get stopped by law enforcement as our team's surveilling me. And I'm getting questioned with outlaws in my car, and I'm getting browbeat by a state trooper, and I've got to stay enrolled and hopefully not go to jail, you know, kind of thing. So if that would have happened on a case like that, I'd just go to jail. I wouldn't break cover. I'd let somebody come bail me out and we'll figure it out after that. But
wow.
hell, it might.
You see that? You're over there selling your house to bail this guy out because he's in your team. Because when you're in those biker gangs, that's what you got to do. If something happens to them, you can't say, "Oh, this is for my college. This is my daughter's college money, the $50,000." No, you got to bring it out. You can't. You got to sell your home. You got to sell your car. You got to sell those bikes. You got to go steal, break something, do something, rob something to bail this person out of jail, because they can't have them in jail. They need them back on the streets to be given order, making money, because these gangs are making billions upon billions a year. They're not no fashion thugs who are standing in the corner of the street. No, they got operations going. They got theft, auto theft. They got cyber crimes. They got everything, manipulation, insurance fraud. The list goes on and on. You know, digital currency. You know, they're doing everything. They got different departments bringing in different money.
The outlaws, you know, the biggest lick. We came as a year and a half into the case. I'd laid out that I was actually involved in the drug game, and we did a deal where we had a load of dope transferred to another vehicle. So we ended up doing 40 kilos of real cocaine, 1,000 pounds of real weed. What they thought was it was a drug crew selling it to another drug crew, and they got paid for helping protect it. But the big issue in that case that most people like to talk about is the night before the op was supposed to happen, Joe Doggs, who was the president of the Taunton chapter, said, "Hey man, I want you to come over to the clubhouse." They were having church, that meeting I was talking about. And Clothesline, the enforcer, who's supposed to be my good buddy, says, "Hey Tex, you got a minute?" And I said, "Yeah." I've been in that clubhouse umpteen times, man. Who knows how many. There's only one door I've never been in, and that's the door he opened. And we went down a tight stairwell to a basement. But I'm being generous when I say basement. Northeastern home, split level, more like a cellar. You know, I couldn't stand up straight. I mean, I'm 6'4", and I could probably touch the wall on both sides. Well, they brandished their weapons. And he's got me down there, and I just walking down into that dark, tight area, one outlaw in front of me, one behind me, I'm like, something's not good, man. This is not good. And everything starts slowing down in your head because you're having an adrenaline dump.
Wow.
He walks me down there, and he says, "Hey,
While you watch or listen to
I hate it when they do that.
Do you have a work injury? While resting those injuries, get paid.
there's a lot of going on. It's my job to protect my brothers. I need you to take all your clothes off. I need you to write down your full name, your address, your kids' names, your wife's name, and I start gold bricks at that point. I'm like, oh hell. Because being stripped in a basement at gunpoint is not a big deal if you're not wired. You're just naked. It's uncomfortable. It's cold. When you're wired, it's a big deal. And I went to write my name down, Scott Calloway, and I couldn't remember my middle name. It's because I was having an adrenaline dump. I couldn't remember nothing. Everything I'm having the auditory exclusion. Everything's going woof, woof, real slow. You can feel your heart beating. Your hamstrings get rubbery. And I was trying to remember. I was going Scott Calloway, Scott Joseph Calloway, and I'm like, nope, that wasn't my middle name. That was another alias. And I'm going through my mind.
Damn.
And then I do something that we train. I had no idea I did it though. And it was basically a distraction technique, but it's also me trying to get information. Must have been my subconscious doing it, right? And I say, what else do you need? And he says, what? And I'm like, my name and what else? Then I hear them yell up to a probate and say, hey, what else do you need for that website? So now I'm doing active listening. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm gathering intel. I'm like, okay, they're going to Google search me. Back then, there was a huge thing called whosarat.com. You go on that. Anybody that was like locals that get popped, if they could ID the narc and put a picture, they put it on whosarat.com. I took my jacket, my shirt off, I took my boots off, and I dropped my pants and underwear down around my ankles. And I did remember my middle name finally, and I wrote that down. But the whole time, I'm doing things that we teach. I'm like, I'm talking, I'm looking at Clothesline, and I'm like, I didn't say it, but my eyes were saying, tell me everything's going to be okay. What the hell's going on? I looked for plastic. If I'd have seen plastic on the floor, I probably would have tried to fight my way out of it. I don't care how tough you are. 13 outlaws, you're downstairs, you got to get upstairs, get out the door. So I'm talking. But in his look, he's kind of looking back, and he says, at one point he tells me, he goes, trust me, man, if somebody accused me of being a Fed, I'd smash him in the mouth. And I looked at him and I said, I'm not happy. That was true. I was not happy. And he said, I wouldn't be either. So I think we're done. Then he grabs a piece of clothing. And he says, hey, I'm not going to find anything in here I don't want to, right? Like some naked pictures of my old lady. And he laughs. He goes, my laugh's like this. Because, without giving too much away, there was something in that piece of clothing.
Oh.
And he starts needing it. He starts looking at it. And he's going over this whole piece of clothing. And he looks right at it, but doesn't see it. And I pass.
What was
And we
it?
immediately
He's a
go back to
Fed.
the business.
He's
Now,
a Fed. They're all Feds. They're all Feds. That guy that's testing him is a Fed. I bet you.
several things to be learned from that. A lot of people ask me, what would you have said if he would have found it? And to this day, I remember it like it was yesterday. I got two responses. One would have been to buy myself some time. If he'd have said, what is this? I would have said, I don't know, some naked pictures of your old lady, because he already threw that bone. The only other line I had was, the gig is up. I'm an undercover FBI agent. I can walk out of here and we can see each other in court, or all hell's going to break loose. However,
that's
that
what
would
they
have been a
say.
bluff on my part. Because, to my knowledge, every time I was in that clubhouse, the cover team really couldn't hear me. That night when I turned in my equipment to the case team, what I found out was Sergeant Higginbottom, Higgy, was the Massachusetts State Trooper, and Joe was the Brockton police guy. That first exchange between me and Joe Dogs at the door made their spidey senses go off. Or if you're me and you're a believer, it's the Holy Spirit talking to you, divine intervention. What Higgy and Joe did is they suited up, vests and everything, ready to respond. But because they knew how fortified that door was on the clubhouse, the cinder block wall around it, their plan was to drive the vehicle into the cinder block wall to breach it there. Because it would be easier, in their opinion, to breach that door. I can't tell you how many people in my law enforcement career, or even today, that I would know and I'd say they would have pulled the trigger. They would have went in there, they wouldn't have waited, but Higgy and Joe knew me enough to listen to my voice, and I was in control enough to where they didn't, and we passed the test.
Oh, you see that? And that's getting back at this guy, you know.
And we're not going to only say his name, we're going to protect his body. Don't tell that man. Did y'all hear what I said? No, it ain't going to be a race war. It's going to be against the system. Because you got...
During peacetime, we support with security details.
Just the police.
Like today. What else? The archery course headquarters is located out of Columbus, Ohio. But we're down here because we got the word.
Obviously, you have some people who exercise their Second Amendment with firearms. You have sort of a different approach. Can you talk about literally the value of crossbows?
Well, one, you don't need a license. 2, you don't need to register. And 3, even a brother or sister with a felony conviction can own a crossbow.
A crossbow. He didn't say gun, he said crossbow. Well, it's funny because gun and rifle are two different separate things. So you gotta be careful what you use, because if they say gun and it's on your license, and then you maybe have a rifle, it's where it's confusing the way they do it when you get your CCW license. But all these people are undercover agents. They're all feds. You know, yeah. The sad part about it is that these people right here, the homeless, are more of an informant than the actual ones. You see, so you gotta be careful. You gotta be really careful.
So, all you brothers and sisters out there who got felony convictions and you want to help out, the Black Panther Archery Corps,
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're gonna go in there. You're gonna tell them, hey, I got this gun. I support this, and then you're gonna get pulled over and you're gonna be in jail. Nobody's gonna bail you out.
is for you.
Going forward, you'll be supportive of at least a full review and so forth of what happened?
I am leaning into the 3 concurrent investigations that are going. We have 3 in this city. So we have CCA, we have the prosecutor, and we have internal. So we're leaning into those. We're waiting to see preliminary review of the video footage. We're looking at all of that. It's all to be reviewed. We do not have all of the facts yet, and so we are awaiting that. But what we have seen thus far are the collaborative agreement spot on.
And do you feel confident, Iris, that the level of protest and frustration, my phrase, it's been measured to a degree? I mean, until all the facts come out, but that can always change in the next hour.
Wow. So we're seeing right there. So, Michi went on, and she kept on talking about this, and I just saw an article right here about the Black Panther. So, I was basically saying, you guys, young youths, you got to be careful out there. You don't know what's out there. And these parties, make sure you study them before you get involved. Don't just go in there and then, you don't know what's going on. Be careful when you're watching all these Black Panther movies. That's just funding for them, you see. So be careful out there. Make sure that you do what you got to do to stay safe. All right, have a good day. Talk to you later.